Hey guys, this is Andy with Get Your Wellies. Welcome back to the garden. Behind me here is okra. I have just a few of these plants, but they're really big, starting to lean over, so I thought today would be a good day to talk about them. But first of all, as always, get your wellies. Meet me in the garden. So, okra is a very interesting plant. It comes from very hot countries. Specifically, it grows all over the place in Africa. And as it grows in this, it really likes kind of hot. It can be arid, it can be humid temperatures, but definitely hot. It grows these pods on it, like you see up here. Now, these are kind of large. In order for us to want to eat them, we like to harvest these when they're very small. So those will tend to be the ones higher up at the top of the plant there. So I'm going to get some of those, and these other ones that are really big, like this one for example, this is just too big now to eat. You can tell that because it has little to no flex in it, and these are described when they get like this as woody. This variety is called Emerald, and it actually is a little bit more forgiving. It'll stay on the plant longer before it gets woody, but okra in general, you kind of have to pick it at least every day, and sometimes even twice a day. This pod here is in the process of drying out. You may be able to tell it's discolored, its skin is drying out. This would be an ideal pod to save the seeds from for next year, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm actually going to trim these plants back. I'm going to get the okra off of them, and some of it I'll have to just throw away because it's too woody, but those pods that are already drying out, I see at least two, maybe three. We'll just go ahead and let those dry and keep the seeds for next year. The other thing I would like to do, see how this one has just leaned all over into the archway here. This one I may just cut out. We'll see what happens when I get up on there. But I brought the ladder out here because they're pretty tall. I also would like to measure them and see exactly how tall they are. So I think the tallest I've ever had of okra before is probably about 9 feet. I suspect these are taller than that, but we'll see. Okay guys, so I have picked most of these off. I have left things like this small one. It's got a couple more days. I'm going to try and harvest some that's actually good, because we let this go a bit when we went away, and consequently got some that's mostly too big. Some of those will be okay, and this was the rest of them. As you can see, okra is very prolific, and you don't need very many of these plants. It's one of those Much like zucchini or squash, you can be accused of being that person that grows it and just leaves it on other people's doorsteps because you have too much of it. It's crazy fast to grow. So this variety is called Emerald. It's similar to me to Clemson Spineless. It's still a little bit prickly, but it's not like some of the other okras that are very prickly. You know, you really don't even like handling them without gloves. But it grows very fast. I put it in this bed, which is pretty rich soil. Beginning of the season, it took a little while to take off. And that's probably just because it was still cool. But once it gets going, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, really. The stalks, the trunks on these plants are big. Now this one actually kind of fell over into the walkway, so I've had to attach that one up here for now with some ties, but they'll come out before too much longer anyway. But okra is easy to grow, particularly if you have hot weather. Most critters are going to leave it alone. I did put some little wire cages around just till the plants got big enough, and I think I had rabbits nibbling on them. I think they're just trying them. I don't think they like them. But once they got big, nothing really slowed this down. Insect wise, I've had leaf-footed bugs on them before as a problem pest, but they grow so fast they pretty much outrun all the pests that can get on them. I did also want to show you when they flower. Let me find a flower. Here's one. This branch got kind of bent over. This one is it's a little bit past its prime, but you can see it's sort of like hibiscus looking. It is in the same family, so they're very simple flowers, but they are quite attractive. Arguably one of the prettiest. There's one up top there. Let's see if I can maybe get to it. Yeah, not very well, but sort of get the idea. But they'll keep going till frost. The flowers are pretty. They don't really, I don't have multiple kinds of okra. They do cross, especially if you have them close together, but the bees will just jump on one and then immediately to another. But cross-pollination amongst okra is not a huge deal because it's still going to be edible. It's still going to taste pretty good, so that's not too big of an issue. This year I did only plant emeralds as far as I know. Nobody else around here is growing okra, not very close anyway. So I will save the seeds out of some of these pods. Let me show you that. In this pile over here, we have ones like this. This is just too rigid. I mean, it is just hard. That one is no good except for compost worms. If you're one of those fortunate people who have some animals, chickens or pigs or something, they will of course devour those. Now, the thing about emerald, this one is still a pretty decent length, but as you can see, it's still very flexible. This one would still be good for using, so I'll save the ones this size and under. And then here's a pod. Now, it did rain, but this one is in the process of starting to dry out. It gets this kind of speckled appearance, then it'll turn dark, and eventually, if you leave it up there on the plant, it'll just split. I like to take these aside and hang them somewhere where they can dry out. You don't again, unless you're just planning on feeding a community or something, you don't need a whole lot of these to save seeds. This one's actually the driest one I've felt so far. So you can always save seeds too. So think about okra if you haven't tried it. It's very good. If you can eat that, it's one of those love it or hate it kind of vegetables, but if you like it, or if you know people like it and you want to be able to be a neighbor and pass some on to somebody, then I would give it a try. Emerald is good. Clemson spineless, I'm sorry, is good. And then there are some other interesting okras. Star of David is one that I've grown. Jenga Orange is another really pretty one. They're just a bit different. People just will ask you questions about what kind is that. I've never seen that before. The staple down here in the south, at least in Arkansas, is Clemson spineless. Alabama has their own Alabama Red. There's a bunch of them, so take a look at them, give them a try. You can start these in the late spring, direct seed them. They'll grow fast once they're going. So again, thank you so much for watching Get Your Wellies. I hope you enjoyed that quick look at okra, and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some of the other videos at the end of this one, and as always, until next time, bye now.